Hey, this is Earnestine, Miss Harris again. Grew up in the Cochran, and from the Cochran, my second move was the Horseshoe. It was kind of hard because the Cochran and the Horseshoe, the Cochran is Crips, and the Horseshoe was Bloods. So back then, oh baby, it was a lot of static with each other. Had to stay up all night and watch Mama and Grandma's house, and all of the rest of the good and the bad we had to take together. But the good part is we united, and we was the last ones on the Horseshoe also, and bought the store from CL on the corner. For my big cousin, I call him Big Don Perignon, Dewan. That's my big cousin. From all of that, we used to go to Skate King on the Horseshoe every Sundays and Wednesdays. Skate King still open. It was fun. You know, we had a lot of static hitting each other with, well, nobody hit me with a skate, but while me hitting with skates. But anyway, it was like that back in our days. It was gangbang and I say again, Crips and Bloods.
What kind of household did you come from, Miss Earnestine?
I came from a household, my father in Memphis, Tennessee. I was born, my mother got pregnant with me in Memphis, and she had me in St. Louis because my father was very abusive. It was the times when before Burning Bed came out, my mother said my father was in the bed and she was burning them. And so happens, I came in the house and saved him. But, I can say again, from Memphis, Tennessee to St. Louis, I used to visit my father every summer. My mother used to send me when school was out.
What schools did you go to?
My schools was Marshall. And from Marshall, I went to Simmons. And from Simmons, I went to a couple of Turner Middle because of Bang Bang, and I got pregnant at a very young age. I got pregnant at 14, had my son at 15. So from Turner Middle in the 8th, I went to continue ed education on Manchester, and I graduated from continue ed education on Manchester.
What did you do after you graduated from school? Where did life take you?
To Job Corps. I got my welder certificate in Job Corps. Mr. Brooks was my instructor. I MIG, and I stick well. Also, gas and all that good stuff. The highest pay of welding is $33 an hour. That's why I took it. The certificate is down, hangs up on my mother's wall. And Job Corps was very fun. My daughter, Ernesha Dawson, right? She's named after her father, Emmett Dawson. The best baby father I ever had. I have. Matter of fact, she graduated from Job Corps also. She do pharmaceutical. She's an MD. She worked at Walgreens on Natural Bridge and Kings Highway. She's the manager. Matter of fact, and I have another daughter named Ernice. She graduated also. One thing I can say, I done one thing good. I made sure my children graduated, and I got 2 more to go. Miracle Harris and Tyrone Collins. He's 17. They go to Sodan. Matter of fact, my 2 last ones, Sodan High. And my son, he's 17. My daughter, she's 14. And them the last 2 to graduate.
Coming from a project background and remembering how things were back then, how can you say the city has changed from then until now that you can recall?
Well, I can recall we had high rises, and when they was tearing them down, my mother went to the site and got one of our bricks. We have a brick in our home now where we used to stay, like 14, 19, and 12, 13, all of that good stuff. So we do have a memory of our projects that we stayed in, the homes that we stayed in. But the change is our schools is getting closing. That's what really changed, and then we really need to do something about that. I really think
How has the relationships between the younger generation and the older generation changed in your opinion?
They're very disrespectful. The children are raising the mothers, the parents in these days, and especially when they on drugs. You know, it seemed like, unlike them white people, Tommy, you know, fuck you, mom. You feel me? No, we couldn't. Lord help us, okay? Because Dorothy and Mrs. Murphy would have put her whole 8.5 in my, okay, all right? And like she used to say when I was young, on the horseshoe, I'm the lawnmower and she's the lawnmower and I'm the grass. So, yeah, we can discipline. It was discipline back in our time.
Where do you feel that changed? Like when did that transition happen to where the young didn't respect the old anymore?
Well, I feel like when they stopped the children from being disciplined, and the children will call the police, and the parents would get locked up now for hitting your own child. I feel like that is very obscene. So, yeah.
Do you have any ways to be contacted if people want to reach out and share resources with you? Do you have social media? Do you have Cash App? Do you have anything where you can be reached?
Well, you see, if you don't see, I have, you know, saying things I'm finally getting through myself because, you know, you got to take the good with the bad, but it's over. I did my time. I really didn't do the crime, but I did the time. So, right now, I do have a Gmail, Earnestine33.com, if you want to do any comments on it. And we can all sign some petitions about the schools, you know, because our schools need to be open. All of them, like Marshall on Martin Luther King, starting with that one. We need to reopen that one. That was a good school. Mr. Bonner, Mrs. Sanford, Mrs. Moore, yeah.
How important is education, in your opinion, to our youth?
I think it's very important because nowadays they're trying to get computers to take over these jobs. And if we can stop computers taking over these jobs, I think we'll have a better chance of working. And our kids will have a future, you know, a career, just not a job. They'll have a career.
How important do you feel it is for the young mothers raising kids now? What advice would you give them in raising the kids, and how can the path of the children
separate friends from parenting? Like I used to tell mine before my son, Emmett Dawson, Bernard Dawson, before my son got shot July the 16th, he did 5 years in penitentiary, and July the 3rd, he turned 24, and July the 8th, the night of Boosie concert, he got shot 5 times, 4 in the chest and 1 in the back. And I used to always tell my son, I'm your best friend, but I'm your mother first. So it's a difference between parenting and being a friend. Okay, you guys do more parenting than being a friend. And then one thing else I could say, stop doing things in front of your child, because they only learn and take to school what they learn from home.
What would you give, what kind of advice would you give your younger self if you could go back in time and talk to your younger self now? What kind of advice would you give her?
Oh, Lord. Oh, wow. I would have took my welding certificates way further than I am now, and I still have a chance as long as the good Lord give me breath. I wouldn't even picked up a joint, a cigarette, not neither alcohol. But the one good thing is I'm off alcohol, you know, and I say one day at a time, if he can stop me from alcohol, hey, I can do anything. So I am blessed. I do not drink anymore, you know.
Who introduced you to that lifestyle?
I mean, the whole
party lifestyle, rather.
The whole project. It shocks. If you see one doing it, you know, the next is going to want to, like the parties they have every weekend. The punch, you know, spiking the punch. And, yeah. And I sold drugs since I was 13. So, hey.
What would you say, what are the ups and the downs of selling illegal substances in your opinion, and why should people refrain from it or stay away from it if you feel that way?
I feel like, you know what I'm saying, your background and going to jail background, I'm saying, is very important. And so, because when the white people get their skills, me, it was rephrasing it that way, but hey, they get their hands on you, it's kind of hard to get out the system. So, stay out of jail, that's on the best.
And if there's anything you want to say to anybody who may be looking for you, worried about you, wondering if you're okay, now's the time you can say it in closing.
I can say it's Robert Mason, Senior, I'm okay, and how's you and your bootlegger friends? Okay, that's what I call his little Tatianas. So I hope you have a blessed one, and we all be blessed as well.
We appreciate you, Miss Steen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.